Hey, what's up, guys? This is my second opinion video about about wrestling, sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it. In particular, the WWE, like the title of my video says, I want to talk about Matt Hardy, his past, his present, his future. His past, of course, being where he started from, where he's come from, where he's at right now, present, of course, and future, where I could see Matt Hardy potentially going, or where I could see Matt Hardy going if the WWE potentially used him correctly, and that applies to the present as well. Anyhow, we all know where the Hardy Boys got their start from in WWE. They first came in the tag team division, using a flying style reminiscent of the Rockers. They had the almost the same tacky outfits that the Rockers did. They had like tie dye outfits and little headbands and that kind of stuff. But still, it was the high flying action that attracted people to the Hardy Boys. Um, of course, they hooked up with Michael Hayes, and he got him looking into the darker look, and they were under Gangrel for a little while. They broke loose of Gangrel, and then of course they started feuding with Edge and Christian, and they really broke through with the ladder match. I cannot remember the name of the pay per view that they broke through the ladder match at, but that's the one that really got the ball rolling for the Hardy Boys. And then, of course, they went on to have the great TLC matches, ladder matches, table matches with the likes of Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys, and they didn't have ladder matches or anything with these guys, but they also had a couple of good matches with the APA, if you ask me. But that's where they all came from. And then, of course, the Hardy Boys separated. Um, Matt went to SmackDown, and Jeff remained on Raw. Eventually, they separated. I can't remember exactly when it is that they separated, but they did go their separate ways. Matt Hardy went over to SmackDown, um, got involved in the cruiserweight title mix, and to me, he started showing that he was different from Jeff in the regards that he could get on the mic and cut a passable promo, not a great promo, but he could cut one that's passable, and he could be somewhat entertaining on the mic. I think it was before he came over to SmackDown, but he started doing like little Matt facts, which I found to be entertaining. Like Matt is dominant at putt putt golf and or miniature golf. I'm sorry, and Matt hates people movers and that kind of thing. I can't think of too many others, but they cracked me up. I liked him, and he showed that he could be entertaining, other than in the ring. And that's always nice being kind of funny and that kind of thing. Um, Jeff hasn't really shown that to me as career growth grows. Jeff's big strength is his ability to be a daredevil, do all crazy spots with the ladders and the tables and the chairs and all that type of thing, running the rail, doing the clothesline, that type of thing. Um, and that's where he differs with Matt. Jeff is the quicker, more nimble, more agile guy, and where to me Matt is the better overall wrestler. Matt can do the high flying stuff. He just he like I said, he's not as quick and as agile and as Jeff is. Matt will bust out a moonsault and do the leg drop and he'll do a couple other things. But for the most part, Matt is a better wrestler, and I like that. My gripe is, to me, the WWE should be using Matt Hardy in much the same way that they're using Jeff Hardy. What I mean by that is Jeff Hardy is always hanging around that Intercontinental title division on Raw. You always consider him a contender, and he could leap in and grab it at that type of thing. He's usually involved in most of the pay-per-views that come up in some kind of way or another, and he doesn't have to be involved with Matt to do that or another tag team partner. Whereas it seems that you know, if Matt's going to be on a damn pay per view, then most of the time he's either going to be linked up with Jeff or some other guy they throw him together with for some reason. Um, and I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right at all. Um, Usually the case with Matt Hardy is he'll string together maybe like a couple of victories, and he'll drop three in a row later the next couple of SmackDowns. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I know they're trying to push that story with Matt Hardy, where Matt Hardy's that underdog that you want to cheer for so hard and you want to succeed for it, but he just comes up short when it comes to grabbing like the good titles and whatnot, like the U.S. title and whatnot, which I think for Matt Hardy would be a good title. The U.S. title I would say that it wouldn't be a good title for Matt Hardy because I would say that it wouldn't be a good title for Matt Hardy if the U.S. title were to be used as a stepping stone to the World Heavyweight title because I don't think that the U.S. title has been used in that manner since John Cena. So I don't think it's gonna hurt them to give Matt Hardy, a title reign with the U.S. title. Even if it is a short one. Just say, hey, you work hard, you're dedicated, you've improved. You draw money for us because the guy does draw money. Before he got fired from the WWE for the Edge and Lita thing, somebody remarked that they couldn't believe that Matt Hardy got fired because he was always doing his job in the ring, and he sold his fair share of merchandise. I'm sure Jeff did too. But Jeff wasn't around at that time, and Matt Hardy was moving the merchandise, without him. I'm sure it had something to do with the Hardy Boy name, but it still showed that Matt was able to do that type of thing. So yeah, I don't think it would kill to give him the U.S. title. They may still. I think they might continue the feud with Matt and MVP. I sure hope they do. Prolong it a little bit. And not just forget about Matt Hardy like they seemingly do all the time, and just give him something to do, and maybe give him a rematch at SummerSlam or something like that. I don't know, but like I said, I think they can use Matt much better, much like they do Jeff. I think Jeff Hardy is kind of starting to lean in that direction that he could be used as like a part-time main event. I think that if Randy Orton wins the title at SummerSlam, which it's looking like he will, then I think that Jeff Hardy will probably be one of the first guys to step up and get a crack at his newly won championship, whether it be on Raw on a consistent basis, like 2 weeks in a row, building up a storyline, or whether it be at the pay-per-view. I'm not sure about the pay-per-view, but I know for sure Jeff will get a crack at the title on some Raws. So, but yeah, there's no reason why they shouldn't utilize Matt Hardy in the manner of which I spoke of. He gets the same pops that Jeff does pretty much, so they can't say that, he's not over with the crowd or anything. The guy is immensely over with the crowd, just like Jeff is. And furthermore, JBL and Cole, they come out here every week and they say, oh yeah, Matt Hardy, he's on that next, he's on the verge of that next level. He just has to do this, and this, and he could be a big time player. He's got all this potential. I don't know if they're being directed to say that or if they really feel that way. But come on, how long have they really been saying that? I mean, are they saying that just to blow smoke up Matt Hardy's ass and give him false hopes, or what's going on over there? He has had the cruiserweight title. I would consider that his biggest single accomplishment in his career, just because of the growth he made while he was the cruiserweight champion. The matches that he had with Rey Mysterio were pretty good, and he has had the European Championship a couple of times, I believe, in the Hardcore Championship a couple of times, but nobody really cared about the European Championship that much. And come on, man, he had the Hardcore Championship a number of times. Who didn't have the Hardcore Championship a number of times? So that doesn't really mean a whole lot. So no reason for Matt Hardy not to get that type of push, in my opinion. But that is just my opinion. Interested in seeing what you guys have to say about this, or if you feel completely opposite of me, I want to hear it. If you agree with me, I want to hear those thoughts as well. Just trying to get a little interesting conversation going here. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Matt Hardy, where he's been, where he's at, and where I think WWE could potentially use him. Because WWE wants to make money. Come on, man. The guy, like I said, the guy still moves merchandise. So to have Matt Hardy as champion, that's not gonna hurt at all, man. That's just gonna make the WWE more money. So there you go. There's my opinion, and I'll check you guys later. All right, bye.